Let's go. You on?
Even the even, spend holy days away from the heathen. I need a break, I don't need a reason. I need a script, I don't need your grievance. Keep it to yourself, it's better for my health. Leave it on the shelf, ain't hearing nothing else. Tonight and tonight, knowing the price. Pay it off with my life, till it's out with your lights. Do it all for the Christ, and he ain't playing nice. Knew the end from the start. Fix your face like it's art. The sons of a simp, call them Bart. Yeah, you did your best, played your part. But now it's time to cut you to the heart. That's on occasion. It's the strangest of the salvation. You see it, believe it, amazing. Them terrorists coming invasion since the creation. War of mine, Lord, bless the general. Greatest nation, eat them unequivocal. Bombs dropping, buddy, cause it's biblical. Start shit, now it's time to finish. Whoa. Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. We want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown. It's the end of the world. And the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. And the beginning of ours. It's the end of the world. And the beginning of ours. We want the world, we breaking them down.
Yo. Hey, shalom, family. Most high in Christ bless y'all. All right, pray all is well. Yeah. Chill. All right. All right, so this is the Nehemiah Squad. We're going to reintroduce ourselves again. I am Captain Zaccai.
Hey, I'm Officer Shem.
Hey, I'm Officer Judah.
All praises, all praises. Hey, so tonight's show, we got back one of our special guests, you know what I mean, that we had on last year early in 2023, a good brother named Dr. Pugh. And today's show is going to be called Education versus Indoctrination. Hey, throw that, please. Thank you.
I was just about to say that.
You know what I mean? We up here talking, and they what y'all even be looking at me for? Look at this. Look at this lovely thumbnail. All right. So all praise to the Lord. Hey, is Dr. Pugh on?
Yes, sir. Captain Zakai, I'm here. Can you hear me?
There you go, Dr. Pugh. How you been, man? Manhood mindset. How you been, bro?
Man, we doing well. All praise to the Most High, man. Just being appreciative of every second, man. It's not guaranteed, man. So we just got to make sure we maximize every second of the day. How are you?
Good. We can't complain. You know what I mean? We're a little bit tired. We had a wedding last night. Yeah. And, we was partying crazy, man. So now we here.
I got you.
Shout out to Captain Officer Zakai.
Yes, sir. So Doc, talk to us, man. Talk to us about education versus indoctrination. How do you perceive it, and how do you teach it?
Got you. So first of all, thank you for the topic, and thank you for the question. One of the main things that I want to start off by saying that one of the main differences, or the main difference between education and indoctrination, is the presence and the importance of questions. Okay. So I'll put it like this: in education, I want you to look at knowledge flowing like blood in the body. Right. It's not just meant for one part to hold all the blood. The body will die if the blood does not circulate, right? So that's kind of how like education works. It has to be in constant rotation, constant motion in order for all parts to actually be in complete unison, right, and have the utmost ability to function at its highest level, right? Indoctrination is something totally different. I want everybody to think of indoctrination like programming. It's based off obedience and convenience. All right. I want everybody to just remember those two words: obedience and convenience. Education is based off brilliance, not necessarily obedience. Education, depending on who you're dealing with, is extremely inconvenient to people who want to hold on to power.
Right.
And education in itself is very empowering. It does not hoard power. I had a mentor a long time ago and said the best way to keep your power is to share it, because if you try to hold it all, you'll end up lying to the public, lying to the people that you love the most, or trying to program them to obey you, and therefore the trust factor, the level of trust, will start to plummet. And we all know anytime when the trust is gone, the ability to violently react to people, the suspicion goes up. And anytime where suspicion goes up, there's usually a crime committed. So that's the reason why when you start looking at our education systems, if they have been compromised, you usually see a level of poverty, violence, or miseducation, or overall dehumanization anytime when we have a conflict of our education system. So the biggest thing about education and indoctrination is the presence and the power of questions. Education requires questions.
Right.
Indoctrination
Absolutely.
requires you to not ask any questions, or you will
Right.
be punished.
Right. And listen, we're gonna show something real quick, Doc.
Mhm.
Watch this. Bring up number 8. That video number 8. It's a real short clip, right, of a teacher, right, speaking to what looks like some kind of a how you call it, a town hall meeting. Watch this. As soon as y'all get that up, hit play.
Demia, let's now hear from a teacher who thinks that they know better than parents what's best
Turn
for
that up.
kids and society.
I have a master's degree because when I got certified, I
Little
was
bit
told
more.
I had to have a master's degree to be an Arizona certified teacher. We all have advanced degrees. What do the parents have? Are we vetting the backgrounds of our parents?
Pause. Keep it up. You can keep it up. Keep it up. She's saying that what the teachers have master's degrees, right? And do the parents have any master's degree? Are we vetting the parents? So now she's questioning the education level of the parent, right? Hit play.
We must remember that the purpose of public education is not to teach only what parents want their children to be taught. It is to teach them what society needs them to be taught.
You see that? Get that out of there. Drop that. So that's crazy. So you see that goes right into your point, Doc, right? What society needs. We don't give a damn what the parents want or what's best for the child or what's best for us. Like, like you said, asking questions, getting good education. But no, we're going to tell you what you need to learn so you can best benefit us. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Doc.
100%. Now, and I'm so glad that you played that video, because one of the biggest things about being a parent, that is an assignment that can only be given by one core entity, and that's the Most High.
That's right.
We can't just go around and just deem people biological parents. That's basically a gift from the Most High, right?
That's right.
So now this is where I found out in education. There is a civil war between parents, educators, and administrators, because there's a lot of finger pointing between a lot of different people, right?
Right.
What we'll do as parents is we will give up our children to people we don't know, but we take their degrees or their accolades, and we assume that this person knows everything they need to know in order to teach our children. However, this is the funny part that I'm finding out, is that anytime when we take our children to someone that we really don't know them, we are taking a gamble. We are gambling at that point.
That's right.
And I'm not saying that people aren't smart. I'm not saying that people aren't qualified to teach. But at the end of the day, your last name is your first political party. There is nothing more political than education.
Right.
Education determines who are the have and the have-nots. And you can just see that individual just said, hey, we get to teach them what we need them to know. Remember,
right,
indoctrination is about convenience. It's about obedience and convenience.
Yep.
And one of the last things you want is someone questioning you in order for you to relinquish your power. Remember, it's a lot of things that's going on in society. And right now, a lot of people are benefiting from people being illiterate or not even knowing when to ask questions or knowing they even have a right to ask a question. Most of the times now, I put like this, I'm going to tell you how bad indoctrination is. That the sports arena, and I'm guilty of this, I'm not judging, I'm guilty of this, that sports activities have a larger crowd than the PTA meetings.
Oh yeah,
100%. You can kind of tell. It's like that one-on-one. We're overly stimulated. Indoctrination has a stimulant to it, right, to the point where someone is thinking for you. And I think I broke this down last time, the term entertainment. Mm-hmm. If you break it down in three syllables, well, just 3 parts. Enter means going into, tain means to control, and ment is your mentality. So entertainment is literally mind control. Wow. And you can't get indoctrinated unless they overstimulate the mind so someone can start thinking for you. And if they start thinking for you, only thing you have to do is just repeat what they said to get a warning. And so that's what a lot of people are doing. And I've done it myself. And
Sure.
I have to constantly get myself out of that, because what I'll do is start repeating something. And then this is the best way to get out of indoctrination. And all of us have had moments of it. But one of the things I always ask myself is, do you know the definition of the word you just used?
Right.
That's
Right.
what I would like to ask myself, because I will tell you this. When I teach my class, we just talked about politics, right? I have a lot of Democrats and Republicans in my class, and they get to arguing and talking back and forth and things of that nature. And I'll pause and I say, you know what? Y'all are very passionate, right? They were like, yeah. I said, okay. Raise your hand if you identify as a Democrat. And they'll raise their hands. I said, okay. And I'll get out a pen and paper. I said, what's the definition? Yeah, not yours, but what's the definition?
Right.
And it gets quiet in there.
Oh, yeah.
They were just arguing, ready to put their life on the line, calling people names, telling them what they were and were not. But when I asked them, what is the thing that you're representing? They couldn't even give me a unified answer. And same thing went to the Republicans. I asked them, what is a Republican? And then they started looking at each other. I said, look, y'all don't even know.
That's
But y'all were very passionate. You know how to unite against a common enemy, but you don't even know what you're uniting under.
Right.
What does that say? And they were really, really embarrassed. But that's exactly how indoctrination goes.
That's
It's
right.
almost like being a part of a high school and you've been told that other school across town is your rival school. They didn't even do nothing to you. Somebody just
Right.
told you there was a rival school. And so all of a sudden now we're hitting harder during the football game for whatever reason.
That's right.
I don't know why.
That's right.
But indoctrination usually is followed by some type of control and directed violence towards another person or another group of people. And that's exactly what we saw in that video. It's us and them. It's not just a community. We know better than the parents. And every time I go to a school and I say, anytime when you have a us and them, it's no longer about the children. It's about what political party is going to hold all the power.
And it's funny, you brought up about you may go to a football game and you'll see more people there, or more parents there than at a PTA meeting, right? Why? Because dealing with that's how come we're so quick to put our kids into the system, because it seems like a lot of work, right? We're going to read something out the Bible real quick, right? Give me 2 Maccabees chapter 7 and verse 27, because you hit on something, and this is one of our main problems as parents, because we have to gain back the control to educate our own children, right? When you get it, read it, bro.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 7, verse 27.
Now, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of context to what we're about to read. This is a woman under the control. This is when Israel was being under control by the Greeks, right? They were she had 7 sons. They were all being put to death, right, in front of her. All right, and this is what she said. Go ahead.
But she, bowing herself toward him, laughing the cruel tyrant to scorn, spake in her country language on this manner: O my son, have pity upon me that bare thee 9 months in my womb, and gave thee suck 3 years, and nourished thee, and brought thee up unto this age.
Right. So she's talking about, okay, forgive me, right? But I brought you into the world. I fed you from my breast for 3 years, right? And then nourished you all these years. Go ahead.
And endured the troubles of education.
You heard that? She said, and I endured the troubles of education. Because there's a lot that goes into when you have to teach a child. They have to do what? They got to fall down. You got to teach them, hey, if this happens, that happens, boom. You got to pay attention to every little thing. Just teaching them reading, writing, arithmetic, and all that. That's one part of it. But now you got to teach them life. And a lot of us, we get lazy and we say, oh, let the school deal with them. But we're going to go get entertained, right? Get indoctrinated along with the kids. So I just want to bring that out. But go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, it's 100%, because you just said something that I hope a lot of people caught it. You said it's hard work. Education is extremely hard work. It's not just given to anyone. It's given to, and I believe even the Most High even said that. I don't remember exactly which verse it is, but you seek ye first the kingdom of heaven. You have to actually, when you seek something, you have to work. It's not given. You have to go out and seek. If you knock, the door should be open. If you ask, thou shalt receive. It literally requires action, and indoctrination requires you to sit still and don't move, don't take action at all. You just obey. And you know what the funny thing about obedience versus action? Obedience is only action that is allowed. True education is action that really will make you free. Now watch this. There is no education without truth. What does the word say? The truth will what? Make us free. What is indoctrination doing? Most of us who have been indoctrinated always find a sense of not knowing who we specifically are. Have y'all noticed that with other people just around? They may be extremely degreed up. That's the reason why when a lot of people say, well, you must know a lot of different things. I said, no, I just found out how much indoctrination I was surrounded by my whole life. Right. Anytime when I just couldn't ask a question, I finally got into a place where I could really be honest about how much I just do not know. And the best way to, if you're educated, if you do not abuse your power. That's what a lot of people don't understand.
Right.
When you start sharing your power, when you start empowering other people, that is the process of being educated. It's always a process. It's not necessarily an end result. Because if you think, at the moment you think you know everything, that's when you begin to die spiritually. And a lot of people have known that. Let me give you an example. How many of y'all have seen people who think they know better than everyone else?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Right? Now, what kind of behavior have y'all seen? What kind of treatment? How do they treat other people when they think they know everything? And no one can tell them anything.
Oh, yeah, treat them like garbage, arrogance.
Yeah.
The whole
right. Line. So now, when people make a decision to no longer empower, they begin to abuse the power they have. I see it every day. As soon as, watch this, most of the time when parents abuse their children, they believe children are to be seen and not what? Heard, yes. Right. And so unfortunately, a lot of people may not know this. I've had to convince parents that their children are human beings. And I know that sounds like I'm being facetious, but if you find out how many parents have been indoctrinated that their children are to be seen and not heard, how do you think they're treating children when they have questions?
Oh yeah, they tell them to kick rocks.
It's a lot of kicking. It ain't the rocks though.
It's a lot of kicking.
Because right now it's a difference between talking with and talking back. When you abuse your power, and I have to tell parents this a lot, Captain, I'm telling you, man, it's a beautiful thing to figure out and see, but it's also extremely disturbing. Because when I have to look at a parent and say, hey, when the child is asking you a question, they're looking for clarity so they can become a better human being. They're not questioning your authority, specifically the authority that you don't even understand. Right. See, a lot of parents have been indoctrinated about their own authority. Most people who are spiritually illiterate couldn't wait till they became an adult so they can make someone obey them. Right. Without them knowing what in the world they're talking about.
Right.
I see it every day. Some people couldn't wait till they got some authority just so they can abuse it because they're really illiterate. And I tell a lot of people, if you think children are to be seen and not heard, what's the difference between them and a pet or an object? And as soon as they start thinking at a higher level, specifically in the way the Most High programmed us to search for knowledge, to seek his face, it's hard to be indoctrinated and seek God at the same time. Right. It's literally two polar opposites. Right. So when children are constantly trying to find out who God is by finding out who they are, and a lot of people, and this is what I'm finding out too, Captain, there are a lot of parents who wish their children never find out who they really are, because then you'll find out who your parents are not.
Damn.
And that is scary for a lot of parents. That's the reason why a lot of parents, a lot of teachers, and a lot of people who abuse their power have a false sense of empowerment. Now, that true empowerment, it goes to when you know who God is and you know who you are, and you know we are not God, but we need to get closer to God. You have a lot of people out there who love to play like they're God, and they know they're not.
Well, but that just goes back to what we were saying earlier. I think a lot of parents might not be as educated, right? Or maybe they think they're not as educated because they don't have degrees and certifications behind their name, but they still have a lot that they can offer the child, and they can learn from the child, right? Because I remember one of my daughters, when she was like 9, she came in and she's showing me some paperwork from like who created the internet or who enhanced it, and it's a brother. I forgot his name now, but he's from Nigeria. And I had to read this thing. That she taught me, she brought things to me that I learned. I said, wait a minute, I never knew this. You know what I'm saying? With some great stuff. So you from that, you learn to have interactions with your child because you can gain, you start to understand what they're being taught in school. Then you're going to figure out what you need to do. If something is not right, you can combat it and so on and so forth. So if we're not enduring the troubles of education, like the scripture said, then we're not going to really be able to educate the kids, you know?
That's 100%. And I think the best way, let me just say what I'm learning. I got a 3-year-old and a 3-month-old right now. Okay. My 3-year-old has taught me more about fatherhood than any book I've ever written. Right. I mean, ever read in my life. Right. Why is that? Because I've had to humble myself and get to know the person that God allowed me to have. Right. If that makes any sense. I've had to sit down and say, okay, Most High, who did you give me? Who did I pray for? What is her purpose? What do I need to know? And more importantly, what parts of my childhood should I never allow her to try to pay for? Because she does not deserve my insecurities from my childhood. Right. She does not deserve my lack of trust from my childhood. She doesn't even deserve the violence or the miseducation from my childhood. So I'm trying to shield her and protect her, not just from the current world, but the world that she don't even know existed. That was the world that I grew up in. She does not deserve that. So one of the biggest things that I want to do as a parent, and I try to encourage a lot of parents along with us, that's the reason why children are to be seen, heard, respected, and guided, not just to be seen. Right. But we have to understand, like, if we really believe in the Most High, we know that every human being was given a purpose. I can't assume that I know it just by looking at my daughter. I have to sit there and observe. I have to seek God's face, and I have to constantly question it through prayer. But I have to question through prayer and meditation. God, what do you want me to see in my daughter? What is something that she's supposed to do? And more importantly, what are some things that I have to get out of the way of? Because sometimes as a parent, I say, look, I need to be super dad. I need to make sure she's protected. But if I trust God and I trust the reason why he gave me my daughter, I'm going to have to mature by giving up a specific level of control. But I have to replace that control with connecting with my daughter. And see, control and connection is very, very different. A lot of people sever connection just for control. Right. And you can kind of see that. How many parents have you met that hovered over their children and their children ended up resenting them because they never taught them? They just kept trying to shield them away from the world instead of preparing them for the world. Have you seen that, Cap?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
100%, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the biggest things. And I'm looking at patterns. And one of the things I want all your viewers to understand, I don't even have the jurisdiction or the authority to judge parents, but I do have observations of what I've seen ever since my childhood all the way up into my profession right now. Some people are terrified of being parents or authority figures in the education system because some of us know we've been repeating a lie so much, but is very scared to admit it because we may lose power when we admit we don't know something. How many of us have been around elders or seniors or just people who are tenured? I'll put it like this. There's a lot of people who are tenured in the education system, but we got a lot of people who have tenure in our families who still don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
And just based off authority alone, we have to sit there in our place, know a child's place, but we know God put us on this earth to be educated as well. So now we're looking at the traditions of men versus the purpose of God. And that is a very huge warfare that a lot of children are going through right now. And unfortunately, a lot of our children are acting out. They're doing rude things, trying to ask for help in the best way they know how. But I will tell you this, they are being indoctrinated by the images of the people in their own community by the internet. You mentioned the internet earlier, right? And I want people to understand this. I remember the good old days when grandparents were not in the public eye doing any and everything. Even if your grandparents were having a party at the house, they made the children go into the other room because there was some sense of discretion.
Right.
Yes, they had a grown adult time, but children were not allowed to be in that world. I remember that.
Yeah.
Now the children are not just invited. The children can walk in that door on their phones and see everything.
Well, yeah.
So the same with that the level of respect. I'm not saying it was the best level, but it was a specific level of respect we had for seniors back in the day.
Oh yeah.
I was born in the 80s, right? But now children see so much and different age groups act in all different kinds of ways. they're really being indoctrinated by the lack of discretion that they have with older people in our community. And a lot of older people don't understand this. That internet has removed the door that used to separate the vision between the parents and the children.
Yeah,
and so now our behavior has to be on another level now, because they can see everything. And what you do on the internet versus what you do inside that house, a child will be quiet. They will obey you, but the respect is non-existent because they just saw what you just got finished doing on the internet.
Right. And it looks like like you said, like the grandparents back then, as opposed to now, it looks like the grandparents are just like the kids. You know what I mean? We're going to read something real quick, and then I want to show a quick video, right? Give me Job 32 and 9.
Captain, grandparents is only 34 years old.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Right.
Yo.
Right. That's real talk. Go ahead, bro.
This is the book of Job, chapter 32, verse 9. Great men are not always wise, neither do the aged understand judgment.
Right. Neither do the aged understand judgment, right? The aged, those grandparents you're talking about, now they don't know a damn thing. So the kids can't learn from them, right? Because they're all looking at the same indoctrination tool, the internet, and following that, right? Hey, y'all, play video number 1. Watch this. And this is what's going on. And while we asleep, this is what's going on in the school system, right? Bring that up real quick. It's a short one. Turn that up.
In Baltimore County, public school teachers' TikToks are stirring up controversy online.
That's right. It is causing mixed emotions over whether the educators' posts are poking fun at serious situations.
Fox 45's Rebecca Pryor has that story. Rebecca.
Hey guys, that teacher's TikTok profile, it was recently made private, so her videos can no longer be seen publicly. However, the screenshots and the backlash remain.
Sparking controversy on social media.
Pause that for a
Baltimore
second.
County school teacher.
Right. So what's going on here? Leave that up. Right. In this news clip. Hey.
Put that back, man.
Right there. In the news clip, they're not saying exactly what the problem is with what this teacher's doing, but look in the background. Right. She got the pride flag. You know what I'm saying? LGBTQ and all of that. So she puts there, I got fired for indoctrinating the kids. But she's just joking. This is like a whole joke video that she's putting out saying that she's able to teach the kids about LGBT. What is it? Yeah.
LGBTQ.
Yeah, there you go. Right?
P.
Right? That she's able to do that. And it's like a joke to her. But this is what's going on in the schools. And they're telling you that you can't do nothing about it. Go ahead, hit play.
A Baltimore County school teacher's TikTok page. Her account no longer public, but screenshots show Alexa Shudo responding to another user's comment with, quote, "I got fired for indoctrinating the kids." The following images show Shudo writing, "Psych, still employed, put the taxes in the bag." On Facebook, one person accusing her of celebrating indoctrinating students, another calling it lunacy.
Right. So hey. Well, and this woman here came on and said she don't understand what's going on. It's just like we were just saying. She don't understand what's going on in the schools where this is even in the school system. Y'all can drop that. Right? Because this is something that was never part of school. There was no teacher in there teaching you per se about these kind of alternative lifestyles. They would teach you sex education. That was different. Like they'll teach you about the sperm and where it goes through and touch the egg and that kind of thing. Scientifically,
biology,
biology, right?
Yeah.
Now it's all about, hey, listen, if you like boys, do you like boys, Timmy? Timmy don't even know what the hell going on. Do you like boys, Timmy? I think you do. Yeah, I like boys. To play baseball with them, but they cut that part off and be like, Timmy, you like boys. You know what I mean? And they indoctrinated Timmy. He don't know what the hell going on. And they try to make us accept this. To the point now, and there's another video that shows that now they can tell the young man your gender is a girl, and then they don't have to say anything to the parent.
To the parents, yeah.
Right?
I've heard of that.
So now Timmy can say, no, call me Teresa, and they got to call him Teresa, but don't tell the parent that they're calling Timmy Teresa. This is called indoctrination and madness, you know? And let me get one quick scripture before we move back to you, Doc. Give me Deuteronomy 7. You know what I want out of there. And this is why this has to always happen.
It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 6 and
Sorry.
verse
Yeah,
and
there you
verse
go.
6. And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children.
Right. The words of the commandments. It say the Lord said, "You shall teach them diligently unto your children." Because if you're teaching Leviticus chapter 18 with all of the sexual sins in there, your child is going to automatically know that this is madness. Teacher, what the hell are you talking about? I don't like no boys. That's against God's laws. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead, read on.
And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house.
Come on.
And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou risest up.
Right. So at all times, you're going to be teaching your children in every scenario that they're in, not just in a classroom setting, but things going on. You're going to be able to teach them this, that. That's the trouble, the enduring the troubles of education, right? Well, go ahead, Doc.
Hey, before
I
you
always
go from
ask
that,
this question.
Hey, real
What
quick,
do
Doc.
you-
I'm sorry.
before
Yes,
you
sir.
move from
Go
that,
ahead.
because that goes back into what Doc was saying earlier about purpose. That scripture right there, you actually teaching your kids their purpose, what they're
Right.
supposed to be doing, how they supposed to act, what the world is supposed to look like opposed to what it is right now. Go to Ecclesiastes 12 and 13 right quick. Come on, make it quick. 7 seconds.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 12 and verse 13.
Come on.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. The conclusion of life, our purpose, come on,
Fear God,
is to do what?
fear God.
That's the teaching your kids when they sit us down, rise us up, when you walking by the way. Go ahead.
And keep his commandments.
That's it. You teaching them to keep the commandments, like Cap was just bringing out about the Levitical law, and all of the sexual sins and all of that stuff. That stuff wouldn't even phase us or our children if we did these simple things. Go ahead.
Right.
For this is the whole duty of man.
This is the whole reason man was put on the earth. To do the right thing, meaning keeping the commandments. Come on.
For God shall bring every work into judgment with every secret thing.
That's all I wanted. I wanted just 13. Go
All
ahead.
right. Yeah, Doc, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think it's extremely important for me, for all of us to question. Anytime when someone can tell your children something without the parents even knowing about it,
Right.
we need to at least put a word to that. I think me as an adult, that's my responsibility. You understand what I'm saying? Because,
Absolutely.
Sometimes when I go into the school systems, when I go to any organization or any community, the conversation starts getting spun between what's right and wrong, right? Or who can do what, or how does someone feel versus what someone is. It goes into a lot of different places. And, I have a background in multicultural studies and all that, everything, right? But at the end of the day, right and wrong can be based off what I've been indoctrinated with versus what's true and what's false. At the end of the day, when somebody is not telling the truth, we need to say what it is.
Right.
That's just what it is. I think true false is more clearer than what's acceptable and non-acceptable, because there's a lot of people who accept something over here that ain't acceptable over there. That's what we call politics, where men could actually vote and try to converse about what's going on. Do you know what is non-negotiable? The biological laws, the laws of life, the laws of nature. Laws of nature was established before man was even created. So our input wasn't even there.
Right.
So at the end of the day, the same word that created the laws of nature created the laws of man. And at the end of the day, every time when we start trying to come up and figure out what's lenient or what can be done or who the parents don't need to know, I promise you, when it goes back down to biology, and I know a lot of people, I got into a lot of heated discussions with a lot of different parents before. And I say, at the end of the day, we can have a sociological discussion, but I said, I think we need to start off with the biological discussion first. And they were like, why? I said, because it really takes out our opinion. We can only talk about what's real.
Right.
We can only talk about, hey, the sun is hot, water is wet. What else? What else do we have to start saying? And we have to admit that that's true. Biologically, we know how children get here. And at the end of the day, about who identifies with what, and I have students who from several different backgrounds. At the end of the day, before they start getting to arguing in my classroom, I said, are we having a sociological discussion, or we're having a biological discussion? They were like, well, Dr. Pugh, why you keep asking that? I said, because they blur lines, and we're in here arguing, and the only thing we're going to do is start screaming to the top of our lungs, and we're going to be dumber in 30 minutes.
Dang.
Because we're not separating the two. Does that make sense?
Right.
So I always tell people, hey, let's look at life. When we start looking at the laws of nature, well, we don't have a say-so. I think we need to start there, because what's happening is we have so much confusion, and there's opinionated confusion, that our children are still being lost, and they don't even know which adults are telling the truth, because everybody's trying to be liked or keep their job.
Right.
And that's why we're losing the respect of a lot of our youth, because now some of them are like, hey, what's going on? they will pull me to the side and like, what meeting was that? What are we talking about? I said, son, first of all, you need to go talk to your parents. Matter of fact, we both need to go talk to your parents, because I still have to honor them, because they have the biological assignment of guiding you to this planet. So before I even go there with you, I said, let's call your parents up, because I need to make sure I'm honoring them, because that's my job too. And by the time I start talking to your parents and figuring out what they know and what they want you to know, and we're going to have to start acknowledging the truth, because remember, the only thing that will make us free is the truth. Our feelings will have us in contempt every time.
Right. Absolutely. Judy, you want to bring something up?
Yeah, and that's how they blur the lines, like you said, is obscuring the truth. To say, well, perhaps this or perhaps that, when the fact is the fact.
Right.
The things you saying are the things we experience, and I'm relaying to it, because everything you're saying that you go through with people that are indoctrinated, we deal with indoctrinated people on a day-to-day basis. And and guess what ended up happening? We bring out the proof. So let's say, for instance, earlier you said, well, the way to break indoctrination is to ask, what is the definition of what we even talking about, right? So we'll deal with somebody and say, they'll say, well, you don't gotta put away your sin or whatever. And we'll ask them, well, what is sin? They're like, something bad. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know what sin is. But these same people will fight you. They're like go to war with you spiritually on something that they were indoctrinated on. So the struggle is this. My job is to show you the truth, and it's going to say whatever it say. We can read it and bag up, and that's what it is, right? And then we get the fighting and the contention and the same heated arguments that you're talking about. We get them on a day-to-day. Crazy.
You know what you just said was so extremely important. I think one of the important things about having the word is it is a reference where multiple people can go to that reference and read it together. One of the elements of indoctrination is not only miseducation, but illiteracy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of illiteracy going on, to the point where people can't even comprehend what they're even talking about. You ever had somebody be so passionate about something, and then they'll say, I don't even know what I was saying.
Right.
Like, what have we been doing for the last 20 minutes? You don't even know what you're saying. But a lot of people who have no idea what they're talking about are extremely emotional and passionate about the fact that everybody got to listen to them. Notice when people don't know what they're saying, they have a tendency to increase volume when they're decreasing knowledge.
Right.
I'm going to say it again. A lot of people who love how to argue, they know how to argue, but they don't know how to teach.
Well, that's the whole thing.
They know it was a stimulant. A lot of people don't know this. I want y'all to look at this up too. This is a part of indoctrination. Have y'all ever looked up the psychological effects of yelling?
No.
Pull it up,
brothers.
We just
man,
we just like the feeling of yelling.
Please, it's a stimulant. But I do want y'all what happens to the human brain and the nervous system. That is a big part of indoctrination. Usually, when people are indoctrinated, they're in very noisy environments. A lot of confusion is going on, and there's a lot of fear involved. That indoctrination, that's how you program the human body, by putting it into shock, where it has no idea what up, down, left, or right is. And the only thing they can do is listen to the loudest thing and conclude that it's the truth because it's the loudest, even when it's lying to you. Right. The psychological effects of lying causes anxiety, depression, neurological disorders. It causes so many, stress, behavior problems.
We're going to
low
put this up big.
self-esteem, eating disorder. Man, it causes so many different things. And I want y'all to understand this. The psychological effects of yelling is the beginning of indoctrination. Notice when you question someone who's not telling the truth, they're going to yell. The next sentence is going to be a little bit louder. Have y'all noticed that? It's going to be a little bit louder because your question is dethroning them from that false throne.
Right.
So as soon as you start asking questions, they need to hoard that power again because questions share power. They do that. It's the proper transfer of power. It's questions and answers. It's proper.
Right.
You can't gain knowledge without questions.
Right, absolutely.
You can't be educated without questions. But as soon as you question someone who needs authority over you, their volume is going to go a little bit higher to put you in shock so your brain can shut down and only receives information instead of trying to gain it.
Right. Right. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. And it was something that was said earlier when you were discussing once this person is being indoctrinated, right? And now then Judah, you brought up like being obscure, right? And so there's a scripture that fits perfectly with that because we're talking about the indoctrination of, at that particular point, we're talking about LGBTQ, this kind of sexual madness. Hey, get Wisdom of Solomon real quick. 4. Listen to this, Doc. This is a great scripture that goes with this, verse 12.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 4 and verse 12. For the bewitching of naughtiness doth obscure things that are honest.
Right, so the bewitching of naughtiness, right? So they're using naughtiness, right? It's really like witchcraft, like because now you're indoctrinating the person, right? You're indoctrinating them. You're putting something into their mind that they believe. Now you want them to believe that this is real, but this is naughtiness. This is sin. It obscures the things that are honest. It's obscuring the like you brought out the law of the laws of nature, right? That the Most High set up. Right? It's obscuring that. Read on.
And the wandering of concupiscence doth undermine the simple mind.
Right. That sexual sins does undermine the simple mind. Right? Because they haven't been able to ask those questions to gain that real education. Right? Like a teacher, let me ask you a question. If we were male and female, how all of a sudden a male can be a female? What is the teacher going to say? Oh, well, it's just in your mind. It's what you want to be. No, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Because then that's like saying, can you grow? I remember I was just telling a story the other day with my son. He was a little kid. Took him to see The Lion King. And then I asked him, what you want to be when you grow up? He said, a lion. What am I telling him? Yeah, you have a good chance of becoming a lion. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Biology is undefeated.
That's right. Most you could do is have a lion heart. That's it. You could be tough or something like that, but you can't be a lion, right? So it's the same thing, but I just wanted to bring that out to you.
You ever see how they argue it? Yeah. They'll say something like you say, well, what is a woman? And they'll be like, well, a woman is defined at however you define it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's how they obscure it and make it confusing. And a child or somebody that don't have a smart brain will be like, I guess you could see it like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But 1 + 1 is 2 all day. You got to stick with the facts.
That mindset, Officer Judah, is the mindset of somebody that worship man more than they worship God. Give me Romans 1 and verse 25. Bring it out. Give me Romans 1.
It's the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 25.
Come on.
Who changed the truth of God into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator?
Come on.
Who is blessed forever. Amen.
So the scripture is asking, who changed the truth of God into a lie? Right. The people that's running the world, they changed the truth of God into the lie. They the ones that the question that you asked was perfect, Judah. The example that you made was perfect. Oh, it is whatever you put it in your mind to be. Nah.
Right.
That's man-made. That's a lie. Read 26.
For this cause.
For this cause, because we listen to people, we don't read, we don't ask questions.
God gave them up unto vile affections.
We give our people over to that filthiness. Come on.
For even their women did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Our women is changing their natural use. They changing the natural law that God gave us, and it being with other women.
Right.
They stopped. Now they ain't having babies no more.
Right.
Come on.
And likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of the woman, burn in their lust.
Now also the men, they leaving the natural use of the woman, having sex with the woman. Now you got what that book, Adam and Steve.
Damn.
Come on.
Burn in their lust.
Burned in their lust. This type of stuff happens because we worship what we see on TV, television, social media, all of whatever our kids see on the internet. This is what they emulating. So that's how you get where we at right now, because we not leaning on the wisdom of God. Come on.
Men with men, working that which is unseemly,
Read.
and receiving in themselves that recompense of their error, which was meat.
Read.
And even as they did not like to retain God in their knowledge.
Well, this stuff happens because we don't retain God in our knowledge. His knowledge, according to Malachi 2:7, is his commandments. The natural law. Come on.
God gave them over to a reprobate mind
Uh-huh.
to do those things which are not convenient.
So now he's giving up a reprobate mind, meaning what? Void of judgment. You don't know which way is up, down, left, right, because we step away from the laws of God.
Right, and that goes into what Doc was just saying about that arguing. They arguing. They don't even know what the hell they talking about.
Right,
Because
right.
the Lord then gave them over to the vile affection. They don't even know what's going on no more.
Yeah.
But go ahead, Doc. Hey, listen, I know we held you. I know we ain't going to have you too much longer. So
it's fine.
Yeah, hit
fine.
Hit your
No,
spot.
we're talking about, and honestly, let me start off with this: is the Most High is not the author of what?
Confusion.
Right.
Right.
And so one of the things in my line of work, I have to acknowledge, but I don't necessarily have to agree and support. You understand what I'm saying? That's why a lot of people kind of bump heads. And I even had a training I had to do for a Fortune 500 company, and I had to do a training for a school system in Colorado. And they were just talking about, hey, we have a new policy in about sexual orientation and sexual identity. I need you to train us on this. And I said, okay, well, I'll train it. How many people have read the policy? Out of everybody, it was like 230 people on the call. How many people you think actually read the policy?
Probably
Nobody.
none. Yeah.
Nobody. They were so frightened about whether they had to agree or had to disagree, but they still didn't comprehend, or they were still illiterate. That's why I tell people all the time, you're still supposed to know what's going on. That doesn't mean you have to agree, but you have to know what's happening.
Right.
Because now when you read the policy, now you can go home and speak with your family to say, hey, do we need to stay in this county or not? See,
That's
you
right.
can still be somewhere, be passionate, and still be illiterate. It's not enough to just be have a feeling. You need information. And that's why I like the fact that you all reference. And that's the reason why I have so much respect for people to say, hey, no, we're going to show you a reference point. Go back and read it. Read the precepts before it. You need to read what's after it, because context is key. And context is key to remove confusion.
Yep.
And see, a lot of people are removing things out of context. Y'all don't just read a verse and just leave it. Y'all say, no, go to the entire chapter, look at that verse, and you need to understand the context behind it and understand why people are still doing certain things. And I will tell you this, it's hard to please the Most High and please people.
Oh yeah.
Have y'all ever seen a lot of people pleasers? Have y'all? And this is just me asking. This is not an assumption, but I'm interested. Every time you've met a people pleaser, were they functional at the highest level? Based on what y'all have seen before?
No, that's basically like a personality disorder at some point. You know?
Listen, you know what I found out? And I hope anybody who's listening to this, if you find yourself thinking that you had to be a people pleaser, it's the most acceptable and celebrated form of idol worship known to man. Because we get applauded to make people like us, even if we're killing off the version that God made of us.
Right.
We're just pleasing people out of safety. You want to know what that means? We fear them more than we feared who?
The Lord and God.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So all of this stuff really has when I was looking at the 10 Commandments the other day, I had a client and we were both reading it. We were just going down the line. And I want to ask you all to kind of educate me on this. and this is just what I saw, but I'm not authority on the Bible, but I want to ask you this question. Do you all see when the 10 Commandments, when you start off, every commandment kind of builds on itself? Do y'all see that when y'all read that?
Yeah, 100%.
And this is just an honest question.
No, 100%.
Do y'all see that?
Yeah, it has to work like that because the first, and let me just give you this so you could take it away. The first 4 commandments are for the Lord, right?
Gotcha.
Go to Exodus 20 real quick, and I know you're trying to make a point. We ain't gonna hold, just don't forget what you're about to say. I just want to show you.
No,
something.
I'm asking. No, this is the part of it because I want to know.
All right, so when you look at Exodus 20, I don't know if there's any way for us to put that up on the screen. Hey, brothers, is there any way for us to put the 10 Commandments up? All right, throw that up real quick. All right, we're just gonna throw this up on the screen and take a look at it. And give me that thing in Matthew about hanging all the laws.
Oh,
yeah. All right, so we could give some understanding and context to what Christ, because I'm. It's beautiful that you brought that word up, Doc, because when we go through the scriptures, we always let the people know there's a historical context to what we're reading and also a prophetical context, right? So that's how it could be used in different places. You can take a precept and it can be used because it's historical and prophetic at the same time, right?
That's why. Is that why it's called a living word? Because
there
it's
you go.
Historical and prophetic.
That's right. Right. And so now we're going to show you about the 10 Commandments, how this relates to what Christ was saying, because Christ always talked from the Old Testament. There was no New Testament. He wasn't reading the book of Matthew. Right. So, right. We're going to show you something real quick.
Okay.
Hey, y'all got that? Okay. All right. Yep.
Right at verse 1. Go up 1.
There you go. Right. Just blow it up a little bit more. Okay. There you go. Right. So now read what you got in Matthew, bro.
Matthew chapter 22 and verse 36.
And keep this up.
Master, which is the great commandment in the law?
Right. So they're asking Christ, which is the great commandment of the law? Read on.
Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Stop. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul. Right? So now let's read the 10 Commandments. Start reading them, the first 4.
Exodus 20 and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Right. So that's loving God with what? All your, what is it? Heart and soul. Right? Go ahead.
Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me.
Right, so that's the ending of the 2nd commandment. Go ahead.
And showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain.
Go ahead.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right. So these are the and read that thing in Matthew again real quick. So we just gonna give you understanding on this, Doc, what we just did. Go ahead.
Matthew 22, verse 37.
Go ahead.
Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment.
This is the first and great commandment, right? So now in the Christian church, they'll see that and say the laws are done away with. But what we just read, those first 4 commandments, go into verse number 37 and 38. Right? Meaning what? That loving God with all your heart, soul, and mind is the first and great commandment. But when they're saying first and great, when Christ is saying first and great commandment, he's talking about those 4 commandments. Now we're going to show you, read the next part, 39.
And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Now we're going to show you the scriptures of loving your neighbor as yourself. Go ahead.
Okay.
This is Exodus 20 and verse
12.
12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land,
Right.
which the Lord thy God giveth thee.
Go ahead.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not commit adultery.
Uh-huh.
Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor.
Right.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's.
Right. So those 6 go into what? Loving your neighbor as yourself.
Exactly.
Right? So now you got all 10 within what they call the 2 great, what Christ was calling the 2 great commandments. So when you say about building, that's exactly what's going on. You're building on each other, building from the top down, you know? So I just want to give you some understanding on that so you can, you know?
Did you want verse
that makes
40?
sense. So now this is not what you're saying, but help me understand this. Is that way how Christ consolidated? He didn't do away with them, but
No,
he
not at all.
consolidated.
Right.
He consolidated them for a comprehension purpose.
Exactly. So they can understand these right here. This is when you love God.
Yeah.
When you're proving that you love God, you're going to do all what the Lord said in those first 4.
Yeah.
When you love your neighbor as you love yourself, you're going to make sure to do all of those 6.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Now,
so that's the understanding.
So, Captain, what I wanted to at least highlight is what we just got finished doing is what I want everybody to understand, the difference between education and indoctrination. We don't necessarily have to agree, but we do have to do the work. You remember the work you mentioned at the beginning of the call?
That's right.
Education is it's toiling.
That's right.
We had to go and get that where you said, hold on, no, Doc, if you're going to ask me that question, let's pull it up. That required work.
That's right.
that required work. That means somebody else had to get it. Then we put it in front of the entire audience. And the whole audience read exactly what we were reading. We didn't just tell them. We didn't just say anything just to be saying it. They read with us, and they saw us go back and forth with the blood flow of knowledge. That's basically what we were showing them. So a lot of people may not understand exactly what just took place, but I want y'all to understand this. When you were in your household, when you're with your spouse, when you're with your children, when that level, that volume goes up, the indoctrination goes up. When you start yelling and screaming, trying to get your power, instead of just saying, hey, can we get a reference tool? Can we go read this together? Let's try to comprehend this together. Do you understand what was just written? Do you understand it? Tell me this in your own words. All right, let's go get a reference point so we can clear up any type of confusion. That is the education process. And ladies and gentlemen, I want y'all to understand this. Education ain't easy. No. That's the reason why people sometimes choose indoctrination, because it takes less work. Work builds and exposes character. And I want all of us to understand, man, we cannot get to the Most High unless we put in some what? Some work. That indoctrination is when somebody else does the work for us and convinces us that we don't have to do anything. And that's the biggest lie told from the pit of you know where.
That's right.
And so at the end of the day, literally, we were built to do this work. We were built to seek his face. We were built to seek the kingdom of heaven. We were built to not only seek the truth, but when we find something that's true, we're tasked with telling it. So that's the reason why, one of the main reasons why I named the manhood mindset. It's hard to be a man and still be a people pleaser. Being a man is one of the most inconvenient things this earth has ever seen. We're made in the image of God, and anybody who's warring with God by default has to war with us too. That's the reason why I want a lot of men to understand you have to be educated on what your earthly assignment is, not just being indoctrinated saying man got to make $100,000 to be sought after or respected. Manhood is older than money. We have to be educated on manhood, not indoctrinated by pleasing people who are not men. I want everybody to understand this, man, because a lot of us have, we have unfortunately taken nature out of context. We've actually put man-made objects before God-made objects. We've actually replaced a rumor, replaced God's word with how people feel. You understand what I'm saying? So we're doing a lot of things out of context, and we're being indoctrinated by comfort and feelings and the need to be right. I don't need to be right. I need to be righteous. I need to do what works. I need to do what's written. I need to do what is helping my family, how to protect and provide. And honestly, I can't do that with indoctrination. Matter of fact, I'll give y'all a huge example, and I'll land this plane here. the more degrees you get should expose the more dysfunction in your own life. So every time when we go to school and get more information, every time we get into the word should be exposing us. Because a lot of us think we know what we got going on, but we really don't. I'm speaking for me. But as soon as I find out I think I know something, that's when the humbling moment starts presenting itself. And like, you have no idea what you don't know.
Right.
And then that whole education process, and I'm telling you, man, it's hard to be educated and arrogant. It's difficult to be educated and arrogant. It's literally education humbles you. That's when you know you're educated, by how humble you are, how you treat people. And really, the beginning of education is the fear of the Lord. It's those 10 commandments. It really is. I'm not trying to simplify it, but some of the most brilliant things on the planet, I found out us as people, and me, I'll speak for me. Majority of the hardships in my life came from me making something more difficult than what it was supposed to be.
That's right.
Because I was more indoctrinated about being obedient instead of cognizant and aware and brilliant. Brilliance is the highest form of inconvenience. And we have to be man enough to be inconvenient for this world. It's hard to be in the world and of it. He said, no, Christ said, you're going to be in the world, but you're not going to be of it. That means we're outlaws because we're in God's law. We're outside of man's law. It's hard to honor both. We got to see God's face and be prepared for everybody to frown theirs. That's where true education is. And I really appreciate this opportunity to have a conversation with you, because every time I talk to anyone, but specifically you, Cap, and your entire staff and the entire brotherhood and your entire community, I learned quite a bit. I hope y'all know that. I learned just the process of education by me asking questions and you just being patient enough to work with me, to work through some things and show it to me, because I'm going to have to read this stuff when we get off the line. I'm not one of those people that just say, hey, I know what I know. No, I don't. I don't. I know what I know. I know based on what my observations are, and I know what I see in these school systems, and we're dealing with some stuff that's going to take a higher power to clean up. I know that for a fact.
Oh, absolutely, Doc. So we want to say thank you, man, for coming on, and for all y'all who watching. You know, it's late where he's at. He's on the East Coast. You know what I mean? So it's starting to press on 1 o'clock over there, man. Right. Don't worry, you're gonna be all right for work tomorrow, bro. You're gonna be all right.
And I gotta stay married too.
Huh?
I can hear her blinking in the other room. Like, hey, come on in.
There you go. All right, Doc. So, hey, Doc, give your social media and all of that, so people can follow.
Yes, thank you so much. So, the first thing I would like to do is ask everybody to just keep reading, keep educating yourself. Please go to Google and just type in manhood mindset. And if you've heard this, heard anything I said tonight that might be helpful, just leave a review. A lot of people look at those reviews and try to figure out if they want to bring me in to speak at different events or different conferences and things of that nature. And even if you don't leave a review, at least read them and then share them with someone else. But on Google, you can go to Manhood Mindset. This is my website in front of me, manhoodmindset.com. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok under the Manhood Mindset. My name is Christopher Pugh on Facebook, and my direct email is info@manhoodmindset.com. Again, that's info @manhoodmindset.com. I have a book out right now called Thrival Kit. The Best Teacher is Always the Best Student. Is available on Amazon, Books A Million, where books are sold. But if you would like autographed copies, please email me directly and we'll get it done. info@manhoodmindset.com. It's a very, very practical book. It's a short read, but it's an extremely powerful read because it literally lets you know the difference between education and indoctrination, because the best teacher is always the best student, meaning in order for me to teach, I have to learn in front of everyone else. All right.
All praises.
Thank y'all so much for your invitation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you to the brothers on the panel. Thank y'all so much for your questions and your comments. Thank you for your audience. Thank you for your staff. Your staff is one of the most professional staffs I've ever been around. So thank you so much.
Doc, welcome back, man. We're going to see you again, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, most definitely, man. Peace and love to all of y'all and your families, man, and strength with your relationship with the Most High, man. We all need it because y'all on the battlefield in front of a lot of folks. We're gonna need your energy up, man. So y'all get your rest, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to try. I think we only got like 2 hours of sleep last night. You can probably see us. Yeah.
I got you. But shalom and peace to each and every one.
All right. Yes, sir. You as well. All right.
Man. Shalom.
Yes,
all praises.
And one love to the family. Yes, sir. All praises. All praises. Yeah, man. And it's important to have guests like Dr. Pugh, man. He always comes on. Excellent speaker. He always got some, some clever, clever sayings and things that really stick in your mind.
Yeah.
But one thing he said about trying to be like friends, like you trying to please the world, right? Get that real quick, Matthias. Get James 4.
Yeah.
Get James 4 and 4 real quick.
My head the whole time.
Yeah, I want to pull it, but we get into those conversations. Sometimes we can't blaze everything we want. Go ahead.
This is the book of James, chapter 4 and verse 4.
Come on.
Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God?
Right. So you can't be trying to please the world and please God. Like the scriptures say, you can use the world, but not to abuse it, not to abuse it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to you don't abuse the world. You just use it to what you need. Right. So you can't have the friendship. Friendship with the world is enmity with God. Go ahead.
Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of God.
Period. All right. Go ahead. Y'all want to bring something up?
Yeah. Jump back a chapter and read verse 14.
James chapter 3 verse 14. But if ye have bitter envying and strife in your hearts, glory not and lie not against the truth.
Go ahead.
This wisdom descendeth not from above.
The wisdom of always want to argue, strife, don't want to listen, can't pay attention to nothing. Scripture say you're not in the truth, man. You fighting against it. Go ahead.
But is earthly.
It is an earthly spirit. It's an earthly spirit to always want to argue and strife. You can't serve the Lord and always want to argue. Don't want to listen. Don't want to humble yourself and open up your ears. Come on.
Sensual.
It's also sensual, meaning emotional. It's a lot of men like that in the world right now to this day. Big girls.
Big girls.
Go ahead.
Yo. Devilish.
It's what?
Devilish.
Come on.
For where envying and strife is, there is confusion and every evil work.
And that's why they try to keep us in confusion. That's why they try to keep us envying and strife, because all of that is of the devil. It's not of God. He's not the author of confusion. Go ahead, Judah.
I want to see just a definition of indoctrination, because we dealing with indoctrinated people all day, and the Bible ain't doing nothing but undoctrinating people. That's what
unindoctrinating.
Yeah, it's bringing you right out the matrix,
Right.
Even with the children, before we get the definition, give me Proverbs 29. Give me that in Proverbs 29, right? Or 22. Proverbs 22, and I think it's 5 with the children.
Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Train up a child in the way he should go. And when he is old, he will not depart from it.
He won't be indoctrinated. So you got to train up your child. Like we'll train our children and let them know that birthdays are bad. We just don't tell them. But when you explain to them, yeah, that's pagan, it is attached to a different God, so on and so forth. You train them. And when you training somebody, like when we was in basketball practice back in the water, we train on Tuesday, Thursday. You know what I'm saying? We have a game, and that training was like for the whole season.
Right.
So you're constantly training your child. And like he said, you're not just telling them, but you're explaining it to them. This is why. You take an extra second to say, hey, this is why. Every time I whoop my children, I tell you know why you got to whoop them? Every single time I say, we talk about it all day.
Yeah.
All day. Why you get a whooping? You know what I'm saying? When
right.
we're smiling and the moment is gone, you remember you got a whooping earlier. Why you get a whooping like that?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And make them think about it all day what they did wrong. Now that brings me to Proverbs 29, right? Proverbs 29 and let me see what it is. Yes, 15.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 15.
Mm-hmm.
The rod and reproof give wisdom.
The rod, and it's a combination. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like I said, the yelling is good to shock the system for a child. You know what I'm saying? But then the reproof behind it is key. So you can't be all rod. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you just can't be all reproof and just talk. It's a mixture of the two. This is how God said to do it. You're going to give them the rod of correction, and then you're going to reprove them. This is why you got this. This is why you got that. And then at the end of the day, they'll be educated enough to where they get into the world, they can make a proper decision.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now let's see the definition of indoctrination, because that's what we dealing with all day. I related to this brother every moment he was talking, because we talking to indoctrinated people 24/7.
That's right.
Blow that up a little bigger. Indoctrination, the process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically.
Ooh. That's heavy. Uncritically, meaning there's no critical analysis going on, no critical thinking,
right?
No questions being asked, no information gotten that you can, you know what I'm saying, how can I say, I mean, you question the information, but there's another word for it. But you're not going to be able to sit there, you know, poke holes through it and find out different ways and reasonings behind what you're learning. That's a heavy thing. Put that back up there again.
Right.
That was crazy.
That's why the pastor kick you out the church.
Right.
You get the accents
But I'm glad we brought this up, because this is going to go into my next point right here. Right. Look at this again. The process of teaching a person or group to accept a set of beliefs uncritically. But look what it says right under there. Prisoners are subjected to brainwashing, indoctrination, and punishment. The prisoners are us, right? Because what? In captivity, in slavery, we were indoctrinated, right? So anytime you become a conquered people, this is what's going to happen. You're going to be indoctrinated, all right? Let me get 2 Kings 25. I'm going to show y'all something real quick, right? Now, this is when our people were taken over by Babylon, and I'm picking Babylon for a reason, because now we in modern day Babylon. This right here is talking about ancient Babylon in context, but we get the understanding, right? Come on. 25, starting verse 1.
It's the book of 2 Kings, chapter 25, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his hosts against Jerusalem.
Right.
And pitched against it. And they built forts against it round about.
Right. So they built forts against Israel to do what? To conquer us, right? Come on.
And the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah.
Go ahead.
And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land.
Go ahead.
And the city was broken up, and all the men of war fled by night by the way of the gate between two walls, which is by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees were against the city round about, and the king went the way toward the plain.
Right. So now this is when they were first being conquered, right? We're going to jump through just to show y'all something real quick. Now, give me Isaiah 39, right? So what? Babylon is now conquering Israel, right? And y'all going to see the progression, the same thing, how we got conquered, and now we're here in America learning whatever they want to teach us, okay? You're going to see something similar here. Yeah, 39, starting verse 5.
Isaiah chapter 39 and verse 5. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days come, that all that is in thine house, and that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day, shall be carried into Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord.
Right, go ahead.
And of thy sons that shall issue from thee.
Right, and so Isaiah now is telling the prophecy of what's going to happen to Israel under the hand of Babylon, right? We were reading that in 2 Kings, right, when it was happening, and Isaiah is given the prophecy right at that time. Go ahead.
Shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the
Read from
king
the top. Read from the top, because we broke up the thought. Go ahead. Not from the total top, what you just read, that verse.
Okay. Of thy sons that shall issue from thee.
Right. And of thy sons that shall issue from thee, meaning what? Those sons that you're going to have. Go ahead.
Which thou shalt beget, shall they take away, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon.
Right, and they shall become eunuchs. So they're going to come from being from the king's line. They're going to go underneath the Babylonians and do what? Become eunuchs under the Babylonians in captivity. Read on.
Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord, which thou hast spoken. He said, moreover, for there shall be peace and truth in my days.
Right. So now, because he's knowing that this is not going to happen in his time. Right. So now go to Daniel chapter 1. He said, damn. Right. Go to Daniel chapter 1. Right. So now we're going to see what happened when this prophecy was fulfilled. Go ahead.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 1 and verse 7. Unto whom the prince
Daniel 1 and 1.
Oh, verse 1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it.
That's what we read about in Kings. Go ahead.
And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand, with part of the vessels of the house of God, which he carried unto the land of Shinar, to the house of his God. And he brought the vessels into the treasure house of his God.
Go ahead.
And the king spake unto Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs.
Right. So the king spoke to Ashpenaz, the master of his eunuchs. Go ahead.
That he should bring certain of the children of Israel, and of the king's seed, and of the princes.
He said, and of the king's seed. That's what we read in Isaiah. Right? Of the king's seed. Remember, we read in Isaiah that the sons that will issue out from you are going to become eunuchs. This is what's happening here. Now he's telling them, go get those king's children. Right? Go ahead.
Children in whom was no blemish.
No blemish.
But well favored and skillful in all wisdom.
Skillful in all wisdom. Go ahead.
And cunning in knowledge. And understanding, science.
Go ahead.
And such as had ability in them to stand in the king's palace.
Right. They had to have the ability to stand in the king's palace. Read on.
And whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldeans.
Right. Because now they needed the king's line. Right. They knew that they were what? They had intelligence. They were taught in the sciences. Our people, we had all the wisdom. Wow. We had all the wisdom. Right. So now we're saying that what? They're going to now come under the Babylonians and learn the what? The tongue of the Chaldeans. Learn and be taught how to deal with whatever laws they had going on. So this is what happens when you become a conquered people like us. We start to have to learn learn how they move, learn what they're doing, you know. But go ahead, y'all.
I like 2nd Maccabees 6 and 6. Some more indoctrination in our history,
right?
And then this indoctrination is still present to this day from this history way back in the Greek captivity. Watch this.
This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or to profess himself at all to be a Jew.
Right. So if I can't profess myself to be a Jew, I have to profess myself to be a Greek at that point. Today we'll profess ourselves to be African American or American, so on and so forth. Read.
And in the day of the king's birth, every month, they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go into procession to Bacchus carrying ivy.
That part where it says bitter constraint, that's violence, right? So guess what? When you're being indoctrinated, it sounds like, you know how they'll do abortion. It sounds a lot better than murdering a baby.
Right, murdering
right?
Yes, sir.
So it's like the way you flip the word.
Right.
Indoctrination, it sounds like, okay, but this indoctrination is violent. It's an act of war against the people.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So now, are they doing the archaic killing? No, but they will crucify your career, like Kanye West. They will Nick Cannon you. They will, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my God! They will Nick Cannon you.
Yeah, they'll destroy you. And if you go too far, they will. They assassinated. I don't know if you can say all that on. You know what I'm saying?
You know how they.
I want to be careful.
Right. Yeah, you got to do sign language when you're talking certain things out here.
There was one guy that was very prominent, got shot on TV. Different. I'll say that. You know what I'm saying? So it's no limit to the things they'll do as we're reading, right? Read on.
Moreover, there went out a decree to the neighbor cities of the heathen by the suggestion of Ptolemy against the Jews, that they should observe the same fashions and be partakers of their sacrifices.
Right, so this is where the indoctrination comes in. Now you have to partake. Now you have to participate, right? You have to live like us, dress like us, move like us. Read.
And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death.
If you would not conform yourself, right? If you would not change from what you naturally are, you would be put to death. And that fear is that's what established the indoctrination, right? So they say we got freedom of speech, but now we're scared to say certain things.
Right. How that makes sense?
You know what I'm saying? Because there's a consequence to these things.
That's right.
You know, I got an article in the class content I would like to read for us, because we are indoctrinated people. We still conform to the Greek fashions because we were in this captivities, right? We forgot our laws, and we've been taught how to be heathens. We think we heathens. We think we the Gentiles.
Right.
We indoctrinated to think that, right? If you got that article, I want to pull it up and read it.
Should be the last thing in there, yo.
Yep, it's in the class content.
Okay. That's it right there?
Yep, that's it. All right, so if you can read that, blow that up and read that.
All right, this says struggling with cultural repression.
Go down to the 3.1, and we're going to read that little passage right there.
Mm-hmm. Amen.
All right, this is the boarding school tragedy. Indian boarding schools were founded to eliminate traditional American Indian ways of life and replace them with mainstream American culture.
Damn.
The first boarding schools were set up starting in the mid-19th century, either by government or Christian missionaries.
You see that? By religious institutions, right?
That's
see
right.
what they were doing, Reed.
Initially, the government forced many Indian families to send their children to boarding schools. Later, Indian families chose to send their children to boarding schools because there were no other schools available.
Read on.
Hold on real quick, but how's that a choice then?
Right.
Go ahead.
At boarding schools, Indian children were separated from their families and cultural ways for long periods, sometimes 4 or more. Scroll up.
No, the other side.
The children were I lost my place. At the boarding hold on, stop right there. I'll read it from the top. At boarding schools, Indian children were separated from their families and cultural ways for long periods, sometimes 4 or more years. The children were forced to cut their hair and give up their traditional clothing.
Mm-hmm.
They had to give up their meaningful native names and take English ones.
Mm-hmm.
They were not only taught to speak English, but were punished for speaking their own languages.
You see that similarity?
Hey, that's perfect. That go right with Daniel 1:1.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's punishment that come with indoctrination. It's not like sometimes something said is worse than something done to you, right? Because it attack your mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's worse to call that child Tiffany at school, you know, because you remember that, like you said, you might ask the child, "Do you like boys?" And then he said, "Yeah, because they're my friends." You know what I'm saying? And they tell him like, "So you have boyfriends, right?" You know what I'm saying? And that little child is all all tore up.
I'm telling you.
And then got him acting a certain way at school, and then you confused when he come home. He's like, why is my son acting like this?
That's right.
You know, because at those schools, from those church institutions, is where they begin their indoctrination.
That's right.
And here we are today fighting indoctrination every day.
Yeah. What you see, the stuff that you take in, and what you're looking at, that's what you're going to turn out to be, man. Give me that Matthew 6:21. Nope, 22.
It's the book of Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 21.
22.
Verse 22. The light of the body is the eye.
The light of the body is the eyes. Come on.
If therefore thine eye be single,
if your eye be singled on the commandments, come on,
thy whole body shall be full of light.
The whole body gonna be full of light, yo. Everything that you put out. What it say about the fruit? The fruit of the spirit? No. I believe I'm messing up right now.
Every good tree brings forth good
good
Oh, there
tree
you go.
bringeth forth. There you go. Thank
There
you.
you go.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Rita.
somebody
Read
give him
it.
$1.
Just one.
Read verse 22.
Verse 22.
Mm-hmm.
The light of the body is the eye.
Uh-huh.
If therefore thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
So you got to watch what you put into your spirit. Watch what you watching. Watch what you looking at. Because whatever your eyes behold, that's what you going to turn out doing. Go ahead.
right.
But if thine eye shall be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness.
But if what you looking at be evil, then that's what you going to put out.
Yep.
That's what you going to put out. If all you watch is porn all day, you going to try to do that thing.
Right.
If you watching the LGBT community all day, because that's what's on TV all day.
Right.
That's what you going to turn out to be. Go ahead.
If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?
I'm about to show you. Give me that clip that I sent y'all in class content a minute ago.
So you mean to tell me if I watch porn, I can't? It's not going to teach me how to be a lawyer?
No
Hell
way.
no.
Oh, damn.
Hell no.
Damn.
It's not going to teach you how to be a lawyer.
All right. Thank you, Officer Shem.
It's going to teach you how to press pause and play.
And hide your phone real fast.
It's in there, man. Let me go back in there and look at it. All you got to do is look at it.
It should be the last one in there. It wasn't part of because you know how it is.
Yeah,
I
it's
send
right.
the stuff. It's numbered and all of that. So you know they looking for
It's right up
precision.
under the helmet.
The helmet.
Come on, man. What is this?
That's not it.
What is this?
We're gonna bring that up later.
These guys. I'm gonna tag. Who in there?
You put in the broadcast in class content?
I put it in class content. SAC CA class content.
Right. I don't know what's going on there.
Yeah, that right there. What he looking at?
Okay. These guys are nuts.
Did I send it to the wrong?
Go ahead, man. Just talk to the people though. We can't be having the
Yeah, man. Read it again, man.
Verse 23. But if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness.
But if what you taking into your spirit be evil, that's what you're going to put out. Your whole body going to be evil. All of your motions and all of your mannerisms, they're going to be evil. Go ahead.
If therefore the light that is in thee be darkness, how great is that darkness?
Now, could we get that great darkness?
They ain't got no great darkness back then.
Hey, that's why I say evil communication corrupt good
right,
good manners.
corrupt
Absolutely.
good manners.
So
Yeah.
it's their job to show you the evil. It's their job to put it in front of you. It's their job to, and they're gonna do it while the children. That's so scary. You got to send your kids to school. You don't know what the hell they're gonna see that day.
No, for real.
My kids' school is the living room.
No, and that was an important thing, man. You know, I wanted to bring that up to Doc, but we just got caught up in our conversation. But I wanted to hear what he felt about homeschooling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that would have been a good thing to jump off. Y'all ready? All right, go ahead.
Play it.
Oh, my God.
We've made over these past years, there's still work to be done. So to those of you out there who are still working against equal rights, we have a message for you.
You think we're sinful?
You is.
You fight against our rights. You say we all lead lives you can't respect. But you're just frightened. You think that you'll corrupt your kids if our agenda goes unchecked.
Yo!
Funny, just this once, you're correct. We'll convert your children.
Wait. Go back just a couple seconds. You hear what he said? Just a couple seconds.
Bring it back. Bring it back a little bit. I want to wait.
Right there.
There you go.
Your children.
A little bit further back. Right there.
We'll convert your children.
Bruh, he's talking about converting the children to being like him, bruh.
Yo, because
that's indoctrination.
Right, because that's what happened to him.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to him. Get that freak off the screen.
Yeah,
Hey,
man.
Now, how do you remember what we read earlier? It say, train up your child in the way he should go. He's not going to depart. So guess what? We're going to tell our children the truth. We're going to say, hey, that's filthy and disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, son, you ain't going to be doing no F's. It rhymes with maggot.
No,
I'm
for
tell
real.
you straight up.
And how are they converting our children? By putting it in the school system.
That's right.
Right.
By teaching them this type of stuff in the school system and doing that psychology trick that Officer Judah was just talking about. You like boys?
Right.
Is he your friend? See, you have boyfriends. I got a boyfriend. Do you?
Yeah,
Come on,
kids
man.
all confused. So
they all confused.
We got to indoctrinate our kids with God's laws.
Under the law.
Right. That's why he say when you walk by the way. Let's get that real quick. What's that? Deuteronomy 7?
Deuteronomy 6.
6 and 7. Yeah.
Yep.
Let's get that. Because this is how you protect them. Because they're going to the world. They're going to work with these people. They're going to go to they're going to deal with these people on some level. So you got to prepare them.
Some go to school with these people. You right?
Yeah, for sure.
All of us.
It's like we preparing our kids for two kingdoms: the one to come and the one they live in presently. You know, and while we're preparing them for the one that they live in presently, we got to apply this. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 6 and verse 7. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house,
right?
And when thou walkest by the way,
yep.
And when thou liest down,
yep.
And when thou risest up,
yep.
And thou shalt bind them for signs upon thine hand, and they shall be as frontlets between thine eyes.
The them that we were reading about in 7 is the commandments. They say you should teach them diligently, meaning we always talking about it. Yeah. So if the devil want to present something to my child via TV, we're gonna watch that program and we're gonna scrutinize it to the T. We're gonna tell the kids gonna know exactly what's wrong with that, why that's bad. You know what I'm saying? That's and right. it's gonna be ultimate judgment if we see that in the house. You know, my daughter cussed a man out for saying happy or Merry Christmas.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? She was like, no, we don't celebrate that.
Damn.
And she was right. Her energy was a little strong. You know what I'm saying? But I would have been wrong to tell her, hey, you know what I'm saying, that she was wrong in that moment. So I was like, I looked at the man and said, yeah, we don't celebrate that.
Right.
And he got rebuked by a child. You know?
He got back down.
Yeah, because we going over it all the time.
Right.
You know?
Hey, get Ciroc 30 real quick. Right, because that's what it is. Like you just brought out, you're gonna scrutinize. And that was the word I was looking for earlier when we talking about the indoctrination. You're gonna take whatever's being given, and you got a chance to scrutinize it with the person who's speaking to you, right? But check this out, Ciroc 30 and 3.
This is the book of Ciroc, chapter 30 and verse 3. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy.
Right, because once we teach our son that freak that was singing, once we teach him, Leviticus 18, boom, so on and so forth. He's going to grieve the enemy. They're not going to be able to get through to him.
Right.
Although he's a little kid, he's just going to be staring at them like, yo, y'all crazy as hell. You know what I mean? And that's how you got to teach. That's what it talks about, teaching your son and grieving the enemy. Go ahead.
And before his friends, he shall rejoice of him.
Right. That's all I wanted on that. You know what? No, keep reading.
Verse 4. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
Right, because you already gave your son all the tools, and you built them right. So when you gone, it's going to be like you're not dead because your spirit is living on due to the fact of everything that you put inside of him.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead.
For he hath left one behind him that is like himself.
Right. So that's it.
So he thinking like you rather than thinking how they want him to think.
That's right.
If you leave him to himself, he gonna be wide open to whatever may come.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
I'm thinking of some indoctrinations that I run into all the time. And we see them. One indoctrination for women is there's no good men out there. That's an indoctrination.
Yeah, that's some real heavy witchcraft going on.
Yeah.
That's some heavy witchcraft.
Certain women will believe that, right? All their life. And then when it's too late, they'll realize, well, I've been scammed.
Vivica Fox.
Right? Vivica. You know what I'm saying? They realize they've been scammed at the end of the day, and it's too late because the agenda's being performed. Right? Another indoctrination for our children, we indoctrinated into sports. Like that's your only way out. You know?
Yeah.
Sports and hip hop.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Well, when I was in the 6th grade, I knew I was going to the NBA. I knew it. I never made a basketball team. But as far as I was concerned, I was good enough to make the league. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when by the time we realize those dreams are over, we done wasted so much time, and I've not figured out how to get any other kind of job. The only kind of job I know is what I saw my father do.
Right.
You know, I don't know. I have not learned anything. I've just been indoctrinated to say, hey, if I do this, we indoctrinated with college. They say if you go to college, you're going to get a good job and you're going to live success. But Who knew that self-employment was better than college? Who knew those things? But now I'm 40 years old trying to find out about self-employment, and I don't know where to start. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't have that discipline bred in me because that's not being taught in the school. In school, I'm being taught to be a good employee. You see what I'm saying?
That's right.
I'm not taught to be an entrepreneur and I'm taught to be obedient.
That's what the woman was saying, that not for what your parents want you to learn, but what we need in this society from you, right? Damn, I lost my train of thought. It was something you mentioned. About getting a job. Oh man, how'd I forget that quick?
Yeah, just not knowing. Just not knowing, because the information, like Dr. Pugh said, it's we don't have the information. If we don't
No, go ahead.
If we don't have that information, how can I succeed in an area where it requires that?
Right, and this is what I was going to bring up. I just remembered. Right, so America's such a great place, right? And they're talking about college, but when you're in a place like Cuba, right, they're looking at all the youngsters and seeing where their aptitude is, right? So, for instance, if you happen to be very smart, and they'll put you like in a medical field, right? So once you come out of high school, you're going straight to medical school. There's no college, this and that. If you show some athletic ability, then they'll put you in the baseball academy or the boxing academy, where you and I'm not bigging up sports. I'm just saying you play baseball half the time, you go to school half the time. The point is, and I know Cuba might not be the greatest example because they got a communist regime. But even if you did that in a place like America, that would work, right? Because now we would take all of the smarts, put them here. Why would we charge them to go to school to become a doctor? Would that make sense? When you just give them the information so now they can serve the people.
Right.
But everything is a gimmick. Everything is BS. Because they're not really for the people, because we are conquered people. You know what I'm saying, at the end of the day.
Right.
You know?
That's right.
Pull something up real quick. Number 9, that one y'all just had up with Trump. Look at this real quick.
Here are 10 key ideas that will power our
This man
movement
is wild.
for great schools. First, we will respect the right of parents to control the education of their children. Second, we will empower parents and local school board to hire and reward great principals and teachers, and also to fire the poor ones, the one whose performance is unsatisfactory. They will be fired. Like on The Apprentice, you're fired. Third, we will ensure our classrooms are focused not on political indoctrination, but on teaching the knowledge and skills needed to succeed: reading, writing, math, science, arithmetic, and other truly useful subjects. Fourth, we will teach students to love their country, not to hate their country like they're taught right now. Fifth, we will support bringing back prayer to our schools. Sixth, we will achieve school.
Pause. Right. So now we know a lot of this stuff. No, put it back on the screen. Put it back on the screen. We know a lot of this stuff that we're not going to agree with what he's saying, right? But we know that what he's saying makes some sense, right? This is indoctrination. It says this is not a plan to educate. This is a plan to indoctrinate, right? Obviously, right? Because the whole thing is indoctrination. It just depends on what type of indoctrination is going to go on. So now he's saying bring prayer back. So they want to bring what? We supposed to go pray to white Jesus again? Right. That's what they want going on in the schools. Because to get you back into that understanding of this is Jesus. Right. Go ahead, hit play.
That are safe, secure, and drug-free, with immediate expulsion for any student who harms a teacher or another student. Seventh, we will give all parents the right to choose another school for their children if they want. It's called school choice. Eighth, we will ensure students...
Hold on, hit pause there for a second. Hit pause there for a second. Because I don't know how it is here, but obviously, y'all got zone schools here? Right. So that's generally how it is all across the country, right? So what he's saying is that because sometimes you're in a school zone that's trash. So if you want to go to a good school, you have to fake your address and all of that. You know what I mean? But what he's saying is you're gonna have school choice. Let's see if that works. I doubt it. Because now if you happen to be in a community with a poor school, but let's say for instance in a white school district, you want to go to them schools, they're not gonna let you in like that. Right. They ain't gonna let you in. But hit play, because we're gonna get to something. Watch this, y'all.
To project-based learning experiences inside the classroom to help train them for meaningful work outside the classroom. Ninth, we will strive to give all students access to internships and work experiences that can set them on a path to their first job. They're going to be very, very successful. I want them to be more successful than Trump. Let them go out and be more successful. I will be the happiest person in the world.
This man,
but
wow.
we want our children to have a great life and be successful. And 10th, we will ensure that all schools provide excellent jobs and career counseling so that high school and college students can get a head start on jobs and careers best suited to their God-given talents. This is how we will ensure a great education.
Right, to their God-given talents, right? So that's what I was saying before. Yeah. If you got a certain aptitude for something, then you should be pushed there as a child, right? Let's say you decide not to do it later, but at least you're going to be successful there because that's where you're gifted. Yeah. That's what's really supposed to be happening. But I'm just throwing it out there. Go ahead.
For every American child. And one other thing I'll be doing very early in the administration is closing up the Department of Education in Washington, D.C., and sending all education and education work and needs back to the states. We want them to run the education of our children because they'll do a much better job of it. You can't do worse. We spend more money per pupil by 3 times than any other nation, and yet we're absolutely at the bottom.
Yep.
We're one of the worst.
Yeah.
So you can't do worse. We're going to end education coming out of Washington, D.C. We're going to close it up, all those buildings all over the place, and you have people that in many cases hate our children. We're going to send it all back to the states. Thank you very much.
All right, so get rid of that. So that's crazy. To be honest with you, when I saw this, I thought it was a joke. I thought it was an AI Trump or something. No, for real. No, it's real. So when I saw it, I said close up the Department of Education. So I looked it up, and he said he's going to do that. Like literally, it's November 24th article, and I think I put it there. It should be the next one right after that. Yeah, pull up number 10.
That's crazy,
right? So what he's saying is that because DC they roll out what should be happening in the educational systems, but what he's saying is no, each state is going to be over their own education, so they're going to know how much money to spend, so on and so forth. Now, is that going to be better or worse? We don't know. But the point is that a lot of times when you have, like, say, a DC pouring out this type of information or saying, okay, they're setting a bar, maybe in a poor neighborhood won't be able to move like another neighborhood, you know what I'm saying, with money. Who knows? Who knows if it's going to be any better? Hey, post that up, y'all. Should be right after that. Oh, God. Number 10, y'all. There you go, right? So look at that. It said what Trump's pledge. Oh, go ahead, bro. Look at the date. That man's asleep. What are you doing? Texting his wife?
It says what Trump's pledge to close Department of Education means for students. GOP-led states. You want the morning edition or?
No.
Okay. What President-elect Trump said about closing the Department of Education.
Right. So they just quoting what we just heard. Scroll down. Just read that real quick. The role of federal government in education.
The role of the federal government in education. There are limits to how much influence the president or the federal government can exert over local schools. The U.S. Constitution doesn't say anything about schools or about education, and it kicks all of that work to the states, said John Valent, director of the Brown Center on Education Policy at the Brookings Institution. But over time, the federal government has come to play some really important roles. Those roles include protecting students' civil rights, dispersing Title
I funds.
Dispersing Title I funds for students in poverty and students with disabilities, collecting data on schools, and administering federal student loans for higher education, Valent said.
All right, so we good there, right? So basically, there's nothing really being discussed about a curriculum. It's just about dropping funds and seeing who can get what and all of that, but there's no real talk of education, right? But just going back to us having our own situation, talking about homeschooling and all of that, right? Because what you're going to teach the kids is more than just education like that. Check this out real quick. Go to Genesis, right? I want to show y'all something. We're going to hit a couple things. I know we ain't got that much time left. But there's other things to learn besides just, science and math and so on and so forth. You got to learn about what? Physical, like you got gym class and all of that, but that's stuff you can learn that we got to be taught. Hold on. Yeah, Genesis 14. There you go. Yo, stop playing around, yo. Y'all stupid.
Genesis chapter 14 and
14.
Verse 14. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive.
So that's Abraham. Go ahead.
He armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318.
Stop. It said his trained servants, which were born in his own house. So who trained them? That means Abraham had a training regimen for what? For warriors, right? So not only were they being taught how to hold down whatever they were doing, Abraham had a lot of flocks and all that type of stuff. Plus, he had trained servants to do what? To fight. That's what they went out to go do. So these are the things that we have to have as a nation. We have to teach our kids how to fight. Nobody should be worried about putting your kids in boxing or MMA. No, this is stuff that they must learn. They have to learn that. When you look at go to 2 Samuel chapter 23, right? When you look at the mighty men, how you think they became the mighty men? You think they was reading the Bible and became the mighty men?
Right.
That's not what happened. That ain't what happened. We have to teach them all these things. But once they know who they are as a people, they know what they're training for. That's the same thing in today's United States service, right? That's the whole point of being a patriot and learning what you're fighting for. That's what really give you that power to fight. If you're not really a patriot, are you really loving to go to war? No. You don't want no parts of it, really. You just want to get what the Army and Navy and everything is giving you, but you don't really care. But go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 23 and verse 8. These be the names of the mighty men whom David had. The Tachomite that sat in the seat, chief among the captains. The same was Adino the Eznite. He lifted up his spear against 800, whom he slew at one time.
These guys weren't just born and then they was just killers. They had the gift, right? They had that gift of war, but they still had to be taught. So music, all of that stuff has to be taught. War tactics taught. Education and this is all education, but we're talking about with formal education in regards to reading and writing and all that stuff. All of this has to be taught within a nation. And so homeschooling is a great thing. You know what I'm saying? Y'all brothers who got the kids in homeschooling, y'all can speak to it. You know what I mean?
They in there.
What? This man crazy. They in there. Right?
Yeah, no, it's many benefits to teaching your kids yourself. Mm-hmm. You really get to control what's going in their minds, man. And because they got drag queens up in the school reading books to kids, bro, on how to have two dads, bro.
That's crazy.
Madness.
And you can control that narrative when you teaching and training up your own kids.
That's right.
In the way that they should go.
That's right.
It goes back to what we was talking about earlier about learning the fashions of this world, worshiping the creature more than the creator. You can control those narratives when they come to your children if you're doing it in the home, in your own home.
Right.
And then not even just that. We got you when you in the community, like we in the community, you got teachers that's of us that can come in and help you do those type of things.
That's right.
So it's a whole benefit behind, a great benefit behind keeping your children at home.
Yeah, and even socially, I know some concerns are that, you know, they don't get a chance to socialize. Like, you know, when you in regular public school, stuff like that, you dealing with all different kids. But you can easily bring them around other children, set up certain dates to go to museums. You can still do the same thing, go on trips, so on and so
field
forth.
trips, yep.
Yeah, you got to do that. So they do need that socialization.
Right.
But all of that madness that they learning out there, you talking about these kids is coming with phones. They young as hell. 10, 12 years old.
Yeah.
They got full access. They looking at everything and then showing it to other kids.
Yes.
Remember we heard one of the brothers talking about that? Right?
Yep.
And it's filth. It's filth. Now, I understand we was young, and somebody might have found like a nudie magazine, you know, a little Playboy magazine, and bring it to school. Everybody laughing like, oh, shoot, we don't know what we looking at. Oh, yo, this is looking. But now they getting what? Educated.
Right.
On filth. Because now they seeing the actual performance of said things. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They seeing it now. They like, oh, okay, that's what's going on. So now, of course, they gonna see it and they gonna want to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the madness. You know what I mean? So listen, indoctrination versus education. We want to educate, but also we gonna be indoctrinating too. We indoctrinating our children with the word of God.
That's it.
Right, and we putting it in them. Right. Putting it in them.
That's it. That's it, bro.
And the thing is, when they ask questions, Daddy, why we got to do this? Daddy, why is this? We got the answers.
Yeah.
We're not going to stop them from questioning us.
Right.
No, that don't make no sense. We're going to definitely answer those questions and give them some examples on why they should be doing certain things.
Right.
On how it goes. You know what I'm saying? Like I tell brothers, the Bible is something where you got the laws, statutes, but you also got case studies. Things that go on, like a precedent-setting case, like in regular law. They'll come down with like a Roe versus Wade, and then that shows you what happened here and how they went about it. That's how the Bible is.
Yeah.
And we're going to use all these tools to educate the children.
Yeah.
And indoctrinate them with the word of God. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, the indoctrination of the word of God gives conscious clarity on your decision. You can't miss with that.
No, 100%.
When they say don't do it, you see it, you know that's what it's talking about. Don't do that.
Real talk.
Don't. You can't go and kiss another boy. You can't defile yourself for mankind. So when you see that, you be like, nah, I'm good.
Right.
I'm all right.
Right. All praises. So you got anything in closing, bro?
No, we pretty much hit it all, man. I mean, it's a good topic. We can go.
Yeah.
Man, you can go forever on this topic.
Right. Because there's many branches this can go off of.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
so many different kind of indoctrinations we got here that we dealing with.
Yep.
And our people are fully engulfed in them, man.
Hey, Facebook and Instagram, them is indoctrinations, man.
Yeah, big tool for that.
Big tool.
You know, TikTok, what they got, X, and you know,
all of that stuff is
YouTube, all that.
Bro.
It's insane.
So
I mean,
you could be downloading it for the first time. First thing pop up is a big butt.
Yeah, for real. I never understood that.
Everything is wiggling.
Yeah, I had to hit somebody on that. I'm like, yo, why does this keep coming up on my feed? I don't even look at it. It's like, nah, that's just the way it is. That's how they push it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, in China, they don't have none of that coming across their feeds. You know what I'm saying? Let you know. It's a war going on outside. No man is safe from.
Right.
You know what I mean? But hey, do we got the thumbnail for the next show?
Please tell me you got the thumbnail. Thank you.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Listen, y'all. Now, next week is going to be the new moon, so we don't have a show next Monday. But the following Monday on January 20th, we're going to have our guest, Eric Kahn. Yeah. We're going to be discussing AI, all right? Artificial intelligence. The name of the show is going to be called Beyond Human, the Era of AI Domination. And this brother right here, he actually teaches how to use AI. He understands all the functionality. And I asked him, yo, bro, what are we looking like? He's like, yeah, it's going to be bad, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a real interesting show. Y'all want to watch this show. It's going to be heavy.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know AI taking over.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
They got, you can make Tupac all over again.
Right. No, I heard that they literally got a Tupac. They created a Tupac, and you can go down and sit and talk to him for like 2 hours and ask him questions, and he's answering you. So Pac, why you made? How do you want it? Well, I was raised as a youth. Yo, hey, whoa.
They got the AI white Jesus in the Catholic Church, and you can talk to him.
Oh my God.
What
he doing? What he saying? Oh, let me just rub you,
my child.
Yeah, let me rub you, my child.
Come close.
Right, come here.
Bend down right there.
Yeah, right there.
I'm going to put my hand right here. Don't put your hand right there.
Don't put your hand right there. Yo, that's crazy. But yeah, all praise to the Lord. That's going to be a great show, y'all. Y'all want to be here for that, all right? Talking about so-called technology. Yeah. So with that, hey, officer, hey, we about to sign out. Where the hell you going?
Oh, Cap, the QR code?
Oh, damn. All right, y'all. Yeah. We getting better. Hey, y'all.
Right on the money.
Click that, hit that QR code, all right? And send all y'all ones, twos, and fews. Yeah. Send all that over there, all right? The Isaiah 11 project, where we going all over the world teaching the people we need y'all help, all right? Airline costs are crazy. Hotels expensive. Food is expensive, all right, for all the brothers. So please, y'all, give as you can, all right?
Straight up.
Yeah, and I see a lot of comments in the video. Everybody that's watching and like the conversation, share this conversation. We having intelligent conversations with brothers and sisters. We got the Bible coming out at the same time, educating our people. So share it far and wide. All right, we're gonna take it to the next level.
And comment as well. Y'all leave comments. All right. We know that y'all commenting during the class, but after it's done, hey, throw a comment up there.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
I don't know why they do that. All these comments that we see here, they'll erase. They'll be gone like they were never made. So if you can, leave a comment on the actual video, and share it.
Yeah, go check out the rerun, because it's gonna be stuff in there that you missed the first time that you gonna catch the next.
Right.
That's
and then you can leave that good comment.
Dr. Pugh said manhood was before money.
Right.
Ooh,
yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, okay, I like that.
Yeah.
He was 100% on that.
Yeah,
he was.
Yeah,
that's why they trying to strip manhood and give you money.
Right. That's what Adam said. It's this woman that you gave me.
Wow. They say a high value man makes this much a year. And,
right.
You know what I'm saying? But manhood way before that.
Oh yeah. 100%.
High value man gonna take care of the Lord's work. That's what a high value man is.
Right.
You gonna hurt anything that come in the door in the middle of the night.
Turn everything upside down.
Yep. Well, go ahead, man.
Come on, man. Get that thing, man.
This is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 13, verse 21.
Yeah.
Then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you.
What we gonna do?
I will lay hands on you.
Hey, if you don't like, share, and subscribe, we gotta lay hands on you.
Yeah, we gonna find them.
If you don't donate to the Booster Club, we gotta lay hands on
you. Yeah, we gonna threaten y'all for that money on the Booster Club. we don't feel no way about it either.
And if you don't indoctrinate your kids with the laws of God, then we definitely gotta put hands on them.
Absolutely.
Hey, y'all just tuned in to the Nehemiah Squad Radio Show. We are your hosts. I'm Officer Shim.
Captain Zakai.
Hey, I'm Officer Judah.
Hey, man, and tune in not next week, but next week.
That made so much
Right,
sense.
that's great. Don't tune in next week. Tune in the next week. All right, that's January 20th. All right, y'all. Most High Christ bless y'all. Hey, may y'all week be well. See y'all on the next Sabbath. All right, Most High Christ bless y'all.
Knowing the price, pay it off with my life, till it's out with your lights, do it all for the Christ, and he ain't playing nice, knew the end from the start, fix your face like it's art, the sons of a simp, call them Bart, yeah you did your best, played your part, but now it's time to cut you to the heart, flex on occasion, it's the strangest of the salvation, you see it, believe it, amazing. Them chariots coming invasion, since the creation, war, mine, Lord, bless the general, greatest nation, eat them unequivocal, bombs dropping, bloody, cause it's biblical, start shit, now it's time to finish, whoa. Said he won't vote, he looking for smoke. So, we give him some more, we want the world, we breaking them down, taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown, we want the world, we breaking them down, taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown, it's the end of the world.
We gotta sit like
and
this.
The beginning of ours, it's the end of the world. Ain't the beginning of ours, it's the end of the world.
Make a cubicle.
Ain't the beginning of ours, we want the world, we breaking them down. Taking the kingdom, can't wait for the crown, it's the end of the world.
I can't wait for our kingdom to start and for there to be finished. Get rid of all of their idols and lying religions. Look for the crown like an Edris. Hey, this that crown talk. Wisdom of Solomon 5 talk. This that second Edris 6 and 9. We want eyes talk. It's your time to end.